tell you about these two struggling teams set up to meet each other. Both the Dolphins and the Browns came into this game with a matching 1-5 record. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 1-5 record. And honestly, it looked like it wasn't even supposed to be a football game. They looked every single bit of the way of a 1-5 team and how they should look. This wasn't a battle of greatness. It was two struggling NFL JV teams fighting to see who could make fewer mistakes. Yep, you're not going to like me, ladies and gentlemen, because I am a real football aficionado, and you guys want to be coddled. You Dylan Gabriel groupies want the lie to continue, but I'm only going to speak facts. The Miami Dolphins without Tyreek Hill look completely lost. And on the other side, the Cleveland Browns, still refusing to give Shedeur Sanders his shot, decided to keep trusting Dylan Gabriel, a quarterback who threw for just 55 yards in the first half, ladies and gentlemen. 55 yards. That's not football. It's not the NFL football. That's bubble screens, dump offs, and check downs. Can we be real? You probably don't believe it because you're going to say it was the battle of the left-hand matchups, the first since 2006.
Don't skip a single second of this video. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's begin. Jimmy Haslam is furious. And honestly, I don't blame him. Because what we just witnessed in Miami wasn't football. It was an insult to the franchise, to the fans, and to the very idea of competing at the NFL level. Dylan Gabriel, the so-called safe choice, the guy Stefanski trusted to run this offense, put up 55 yards. 55. You can't even say it without shaking your head. And that number, 55, it's going to hang over Cleveland like a scarlet letter. It's not just bad. It's humiliating. In a league where quarterbacks are dropping 300-yard bombs every Sunday, where backups are coming off the bench and instantly slinging touchdowns, the Browns rolled with Dylan Gabriel, and he rewarded them with high school-level production. 55 yards. That's not NFL football. That's not even FBS football. That's backyard two-hand touch. But let's be clear here. This game wasn't just another loss or another ugly stat line. This was a breaking point. A boiling point, because sitting on that sideline, helmet on, eyes locked in, ready to play, was Shedeur Sanders, a kid with the pedigree, the poise, and the talent to change the trajectory of this team. And yet, once again, he was left holding a clipboard while Gabriel ran the offense into the ground. This is where frustration becomes something bigger. This is where fan anger turns into outright betrayal. Because when your owner, your coaches, and your organization refuse to put the best talent on the field, what message are they sending? To the locker room? To the fans? To the future of the franchise? They're saying, we don't believe in winning. We believe in protecting our mistakes. Look, I get it. Coaches are stubborn. They want to prove they were right, that their guy is the guy. But this isn't about ego anymore. This isn't about proving the scouts correct or wrong. This is about the reality staring us all in the face. Dylan Gabriel is not the answer. He never was. 55 yards isn't a fluke. It's a statement that he can't handle NFL speed, NFL pressure, or NFL defenses. And Jimmy Haslam, he's watching all of this unfold while his investment burns on national television. He's watching the team he's poured millions into look like a junior varsity squad, while the quarterback with championship DNA sits untouched on the bench. You think that man's going to stay patient? No way. This is the kind of disaster that forces owners to step in. This is the kind of performance that gets coaches fired. Because what happened in Miami wasn't just about bad play calling or a quarterback missing throws. It was symbolic. Symbolic of a franchise that's lost trust in itself. Symbolic of a coaching staff so afraid to take risks that they'd rather sink with the safe option than rise with the bold one. And let me tell you something. That's why this moment matters. This wasn't just another ugly Sunday. This was the straw that might finally snap in Cleveland. The locker room knows it. The fans know it. Jimmy Haslam knows it. The question is, Does Kevin Stefanski know it? This isn't just about one quarterback throwing for 55 yards. This is about a franchise that's spiraling, and everybody can see it except the people in charge. Let's call it what it is. The Cleveland Browns right now are the definition of dysfunction. Kevin Stefanski is sitting on the hottest seat in football. He won Coach of the Year not long ago, remember? But fast forward to now, and he looks like a man completely out of answers. The play calling is predictable, the offense is lifeless, and you can feel it. This isn't just a scheme issue. This is a trust issue. Stefanski doesn't trust his quarterback, his players don't trust the system, and the fans sure as hell don't trust the direction of this team. 1-5. That's the record. That's the reality. And when you're sitting at 1-5, you can't hide behind excuses anymore. You can't sell hope with "we're building something" speeches. You've got to show results. And instead of results, what we're seeing is a locker room ready to explode. Myles Garrett, the heart and soul of this defense, had to come out and say it. He didn't rip the offense directly, but you heard it in his tone. They're tired of carrying dead weight. Imagine putting your body on the line every Sunday, dominating at your position, and then standing on the sideline knowing the offense can't move the ball. That frustration doesn't stay bottled up. It seeps into everything, into practice, into film study, into the culture. And the worst part, the hope, the fix, the answer. He's already here. Shedeur Sanders is right there. He's not hurt. He's not holding out. He's not some practice squad project. He's a first-round pick with NFL bloodlines, sitting in uniform every week, waiting for the chance. And yet Stefanski keeps trotting out Dylan Gabriel, asking the locker room to believe in a quarterback they already know isn't good enough. That's why this feels bigger than just a bad start. This feels like organizational malpractice. The head coach is doubling down on a mistake. The players are losing faith. The fans are tuning out. And the owner? He's reportedly furious, and rightfully so. Because if you're Jimmy Haslam, how many more weeks of this do you sit through before you step in and demand change? And here's the kicker. This isn't new for Cleveland. We've seen this cycle before. Quarterback controversies, wasted rosters, coaches too stubborn to admit failure. The names change. Baker, Johnny, Colt. But the story stays the same. And right now, it feels like we're watching another chapter in that sad tradition. The Browns are broken, not just because Dylan Gabriel can't throw, but because the organization refuses to face the truth. And until they do, this team is stuck. The question hanging over Cleveland is simple. Will they finally break the cycle, or are they about to waste another season protecting a mistake? Let's talk about Dylan Gabriel, because this is where the whole thing comes crashing down. This was supposed to be the safe pick, the guy who wouldn't rock the boat, the guy scouts said was NFL ready, more athletic, more polished, the quarterback you could plug in right away and trust. And yet, every snap, every drive, every throw proves the exact opposite. From the moment he stepped onto the field in Miami, you could see it. The body language, shoulders slumped, eyes darting, a quarterback who looked more like he was trying not to mess up than trying to win a football game. That's not confidence, that's survival. And survival ball doesn't work in the NFL. They told us Gabriel was the athlete, the runner, the guy who could extend plays and keep defenses guessing. But let's be real. Where was it? Every time pressure came, he folded. No slide in the pocket, no escape. Just a quarterback taking sacks and throwing checkdowns because he didn't trust himself to make a real throw downfield. Miami didn't even respect him. They stacked the box, sat on the short routes, and dared him to beat them deep. And guess what? He couldn't. 55 yards, that's all. And it wasn't just the number. It was how he got there. Bubble screens, dump-offs, plays designed to hide him, not showcase him. Stefanski's play calling told us everything. This coaching staff has zero faith in Dylan Gabriel. None. When you're facing one of the league's weakest defenses and your game plan is pray the running back bails us out, that's not football. That's desperation. And let's not forget, this wasn't supposed to be the narrative. Remember draft night? Analysts were raving about Gabriel's polish, his quick release, his ability to run an offense the right way. They called him the floor guy. Maybe not the highest ceiling, but a safe bet. But here's the problem. In the NFL, the so-called safe bet can be the most dangerous move you make. Because if your quarterback can't win games with his arm, can't inspire confidence in his teammates, and can't rise to the moment when everything's on the line, then what exactly are you buying? What we're seeing is the unraveling of that myth in real time. Dylan Gabriel isn't safe. He's the riskiest choice this franchise could have made because he's wasting time, wasting snaps, wasting the energy of a locker room that knows they have a better option standing on the sideline. Look at the receivers, arms thrown up after another missed read. Look at the defense, shaking their heads as they jog off after another 3 and out. You can feel it. The team knows. The fans know. Gabriel is not the answer. And the longer the Browns pretend he is, the deeper this hole gets. The gamble on Dylan Gabriel has already failed. And now the real question becomes, how long does this organization keep doubling down on a losing bet? Here's what drives me insane. The answer is sitting right there. Helmet on, locked in, ready to go. Shedeur Sanders isn't some mystery. He isn't some long-shot developmental project. He's the real deal. And yet, week after week, Cleveland refuses to unleash him. Let's start with what makes Shedeur different. Poise. Pressure doesn't shake him. From Jackson State to Colorado, he's lived under the spotlight. He's played behind weak offensive lines. He's taken shots. He's been doubted. And every single time he's responded with calm, with control, with leadership. That's what separates him. Some quarterbacks play scared. Shedeur plays steady. Even in chaos, his heartbeat never changes. And that's exactly what this Browns offense needs. You could feel it in Miami. The frustration wasn't just with Gabriel. It was with the wasted opportunity. Because everybody knows Shedeur could have been out there delivering strikes, moving the chains, and breathing life into this dead offense. Instead, he was on the sideline, headset on, forced to watch his team sink deeper while the so-called safe choice drowned them in bubble screens. The cameras told the story. Shedeur Sanders in the stands, visibly frustrated. Pilar Sanders shaking her head. That wasn't just family pride. That was the reality every fan in Cleveland felt. You don't bring Dayon's kids into the building and then treat Shedeur like a practice squad rookie. That's not protection, that's sabotage. And I know what Stefanski's defenders will say. They're protecting him. They don't want to throw him into the fire too soon. Protecting him from what? From experience? From growth? From learning what it takes on Sundays? Please. This is the NFL. You don't protect talent. You develop it. You unleash it. You let it rise. Keeping Shedeur on the bench isn't protection. It's punishment. It's robbing him of reps he's earned and robbing the fans of the future they've been promised. Think about what Shedeur could bring right now. A deep ball that forces defenses to respect the field. Pocket presence that doesn't collapse at the first sign of pressure. Leadership that commands the huddle, even as a rookie. That's what this team is missing. A spark, a belief, a quarterback who doesn't just play safe, but plays to win. The Browns have been starving for a face of the franchise, for someone fans can believe in. Shedeur Sanders could be that guy. He's got the name, he's got the talent, and he's got the mindset. The only thing he doesn't have? Opportunity. And that's not on him. That's on the coaches. That's on the politics. That's on the fear of admitting they got it wrong with Gabriel. Every wasted snap is another reminder. The Browns don't just have a problem, they're sitting on the solution. And until they're brave enough to play him, all we'll be left with is what ifs. And that's the tragedy of this season. Because the Sanders era isn't just possible, it's inevitable. The only question is, how many losses will Cleveland suffer before they finally admit it? We've reached the crossroads. The moment where excuses no longer matter, where patience has run out, and where every single person in Cleveland knows the truth. The Dylan Gabriel experiment is over. Finished, dead. And the longer this organization clings to it, the more damage they do to themselves, to their fans, and to their future. The Browns can't keep pretending this is fine. They can't keep trotting out bubble screens and checkdowns while the rest of the league is pushing the ball 40 yards downfield. They can't keep watching their defense put on heroic performances only to be betrayed by an offense that looks allergic to risk. And they sure as hell can't keep Shedeur Sanders on the bench like he's some emergency backup. Because he's not. He's the spark. He's the shot of adrenaline this team desperately needs. Picture it. Shedeur finally gets the call. The huddle feels different. The players feel it. The receiver's eyes light up because they know the ball might finally find their hands. The offensive line digs in because they've got a leader behind them who won't crumble at the first hit. The defense feels it too. That extra jolt of belief that comes from knowing their work might finally mean something. That's how you change a season. That's how you flip a locker room from doubt to determination. And here's the thing. It's not too late. 1-5 is ugly, but it's not a death sentence. The AFC is still wide open. Momentum still matters. And if the Browns are bold enough to turn the page now, if they let Shedeur take the reins, they can salvage this season. They can breathe life into a fan base that's been starved for something real to believe in. But every week wasted is another week of sabotage. Another week Shedeur loses valuable snaps. Another week the locker room slips further away. Another week the fans feel betrayed. The Browns don't have time to wait until it's too late. They have to act now. The Dylan Gabriel experiment is over. Say it with me. The Dylan Gabriel experiment is over. Over. Done. Finished. The Shedeur Sanders era must begin. Not next month. Not after the bye week. Not after the season is already lost. Right now. Today. Because if this team has any shot at saving its season, it starts with putting number one under center. Jimmy Haslam has to step in. The owner has to make the call. Stefanski won't do it on his own, and the locker room can't wait forever. This is the turning point. Either Cleveland makes the bold move that changes everything, or they keep hiding behind safe choices while the season burns away. The choice is right there in front of them. And for once, Browns fans deserve to see their team make the right one. The Dylan Gabriel experiment is over. The Shedeur Sanders era must begin.